Because we're willing to go to therapy, I feel more confident that our marriage will last.
Yeah.
I don't see it as like an old school mentality of if you're in couples therapy, you're on the verge of divorce.
Right.
You know, it's more like, no, because we are going to couples
It's gonna
therapy
help
means
us.
we won't get divorced.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely. This show is dedicated to helping you strengthen your family tree and live financially free. Welcome to the Marriage, Kids, and Money podcast, everybody. This is Andy Hill, and today we're celebrating Session 100. Oh, yeah, baby. 100 sessions, 100 episodes, 100 opportunities to become a better spouse, a better parent, and much, much better with our money. For this very special episode, I've invited three very special people to join me. These are the most important people in my life. They are my reason for living, my reason for working hard and hustling, and quite frankly, the reason I started the show. My first interview will be with my loving, caring, and athletic daughter, Zoey Hill. My second interview will be with my sporty, handsome, and cool son, Calvin Hill. And last but not least, my final interview will be with my creative, beautiful, and patient wife, Nicole Hill. It's really important for me to do this, my friends. Every 50 episodes, I feature my family because they mean the world to me. And I think you're going to love them too. Without further delay, let's jump into our very first interview with Zoey Hill. Zoey, welcome to the show. So I'm so happy to have you here. You were with us about a year ago for session number 50. Do you remember that when you were 5 years old?
I remember I was 4 years old, maybe 3. I'm so excited. I've been waiting for weeks to get on here.
I think you were only 5 at that point, but anyway, let's carry on with our conversation today. So I'm very excited to have you. How old are you today? I guess we could ask you.
About 6.
About 6. So what grade are you in now that you're 6?
Well, if you turn 6, I'm in first grade.
You're in first grade. I love it. So what is your favorite thing about being a first grader?
Well, we get to sit anywhere on the bus. We can go on other structures of playgrounds. A lot of things is for bigger classes.
Yeah, for the bigger kids, you get to do new things.
Yeah.
That's cool. Excellent. Well, what is your least favorite thing about school?
You get a lot of homework.
Do you? You get homework
Yeah.
already? Oh, man. Like what type of homework?
A lot of writing.
A lot of writing.
Yeah.
Some serious business, huh?
Really serious.
Are you learning a lot, though?
Yeah. I don't like learning, though.
You don't? What don't you like about learning?
It's a little too much.
Yeah.
'Cause learning, it's pretty much not really understanding, and sometimes you get it wrong and sometimes you get it right.
So it gets frustrating if you get it wrong sometimes.
Yeah, and you can't figure out which one is which.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Well, that's all part of the process. So I'm so glad that you like your school, though. Way is pretty fun, right? Mm-hmm. And you've made some good friends. Who's your like favorite friend right now?
My favorite friend is all of them. I can't decide, because one of my favorites would mean that one of them is my least favorite.
Oh, that's so kind of you to think like that. Oh, I love that. That's very sweet. So, Zoey, who is your teacher right now?
Miss Mac, but she pronounces it more Miss Elliot.
Oh.
Miss Elliot. Miss Elliot.
Wait, do it again.
I can't pronounce it right.
Is it
Miss Alikia?
Michaelia?
No, Miss Alikia.
Miss Alikia.
No! Miss Alikia.
Michaelia?
No.
Michaelikia?
Miss Ali.
Maybe that's why everybody calls her Mrs. Mac.
Yeah.
Because it's a little easier. Well, that's cool. So that's good. I'm glad you're liking school. Let's talk a little bit about sports. I understand you are really enjoying soccer lately. Is that true?
Yeah, I don't like kind of soccer games because I got my ears pierced. Do you guys know? Right here.
Yeah, check them out, everybody. All the friends on YouTube, you can see Zoe's ears pierced.
And you have to take them out every soccer game because they think that they might get ripped out and hurt. And that's very kind of them, but I don't like when they take them out because you have to yank them out.
Yeah, and Daddy has to take them out, and he's just like he's just okay at taking earrings out. Am I okay at taking earrings out, or am I okay?
It's really fast.
Yeah.
So when you take them out like this,
Yeah.
1 second, like, boom, it stops hurting.
Yeah. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not really bad, but once you get them out, they'll start feeling a little bit pain again, but then it'll go away eventually.
That's good. And so you've got a lot of things happen to you this year. You got your ears pierced, and then you've lost a lot of teeth, too. Can you show everybody on YouTube your front teeth there? Oh, my, yes. Two front teeth.
I pulled both of them out.
Wow. That is amazing. So how many teeth have you lost now?
4.
4 total. So what?
And these 2 are starting to grow in.
That's cool. So, so what happens when you lose a tooth? What do you do with your tooth at night?
Well, I put it under my pillow. If any of you know, I want to keep it a secret, but the tooth fairy comes. And it's normally my dad.
Oh! I mean, the tooth fairy and I are in cahoots, right? We work together because it's a secret.
Same as Santa. You're a Santa helper and a tooth fairy helper.
Yeah, there's lots of things to help out with. All right, so let's talk about, there's one other thing that I wanted to ask you about. You did a lemonade stand a little while ago. How did you like doing a lemonade stand?
It was really fun. We got $50. We got to split it from tens.
$50?
Yep.
I didn't realize you got $50.
Probably 55.
So you split it with the other girls, your neighbor girls?
Yeah, and my mom posted it on Facebook, and it says, the kids worked hard today. If you haven't checked that out, you can go into it. You can go to it, and we'll probably do another lemonade stand if you want it.
Yeah, if you guys are in the neighborhood in Oakland County, Michigan, come by. We'll do another lemonade stand next year. So, Zoe, what did you do with all your money that you got from the lemonade stand?
I bought some new toys, I guess.
Yeah. Do you remember what you were into at that time?
Elena of Avalor.
That's right.
It's like I said on the other show that I loved Elena of Avalor, but now I really don't, I guess.
What are you into now?
Shimmer and Shine.
Shimmer and Shine. Is that what you want to do for Halloween?
Maybe.
Maybe. That's cool.
I was thinking about being a witch, though.
Oh, that'd be fun. I like it.
We could buy a broom and then face paint my face with dots on it. It would be really fun.
That's cool. So, Zoe, when you got that money, and when you do your chores sometimes, you get money and it also goes into your savings account right now. I understand that you are close to $100 in your savings account. That is incredible.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with all this savings money that you have?
I might buy a phone.
Yeah. But
when I'm 12.
When you're 12, that's right. So keep saving, my girlfriend. And then, one thing that we like to do with our money sometimes is give. But, for me, Zoe, I'll be honest with you, it's hard for me to give my money because I've worked at it and I worked at it really hard. So it's sometimes hard for me to give it away. What do you think about giving money?
Giving money is super hard. I agree with him. Giving money, you have to get it. You have to get it out, and you have to help your family to get it and then share it.
Why do you think it's important to share the money then?
So that you can help people who don't have homes, who don't have healthy food, who don't have water, who don't have shirts, who don't have necklaces, who don't have jewelry, anything.
Yeah, well, that's good, very good for us to think about that sometimes. And I'm glad that you and I are working on that together. I'm not the best giver, but I think if you and I can work together, we can do a good job, right?
Of course.
Nice. I love it. Well, I just have a couple more questions before we go up for bed. As you guys can see on YouTube, we're in our pajamas and we're getting ready for bed, but we just figured we'd have a conversation and then throw this up on YouTube. And maybe there's some kids, daddies and daughters that like to have these types of conversation that they can, learn from us, and maybe they can have a fun conversation together that they can remember. So one thing I wanted to ask before we go, you like YouTube, right? What's your favorite show to watch on YouTube that you like?
On YouTube,
Yeah.
I really, really, really like, you know what I like. On YouTube, I like watching toys and like watching shows and like watching how do you make Disney princesses out of Play-Doh. And
Do you like watching kids play video games too? You like watching Roblox, right?
yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I understand that you make some YouTube videos, Zoe. Is that right?
Yeah, I made those cupcake videos. If you haven't checked them out, they're on YouTube.
That's cool. And then we just made one the other day that Mommy's editing right now. What's that one about?
It's about a food contest.
Yeah, everybody, we did a fun food contest. We'll post it in the show notes for you guys to check out, but it was really funny. What happens during our food contest?
There's some good food and some bad food. I normally got 2 bad things, but I got more good things than bad. It was kind of really fun. You don't know what's in the bucket, but you get what you get and you don't throw a fit.
I love it. That's cool. Hey, Zoe, do you have any jokes you want to tell the audience today?
Sure, I have a funny one. Why is the 6 afraid of 9? 'Cause 7, 8, 9.
I love it. You're a regular ham, my dear.
Yeah.
Are you excited to go to Disney World with Daddy?
Yeah.
We're going to go in just a couple weeks.
And with Grandma.
And Grandma's going to be there, and Grandpa, and
Yep.
Mommy, and Calvin.
Yep.
Well, Zoe, thank you so much for being on the show today. I love you very much.
I love you too.
Can I have a kiss?
Mwah.
I could not be more proud of my little girl. And now on to our second interview with my sporty guy, Calvin Hill. Welcome to the show, Calvin Hill. How are you today?
Good.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear. Hey, I understand you are 4 years old now. Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, and when you're 4 years old, you go to Big Fours pre-K. Yeah. So, who's your new teacher?
Mrs. McGregor.
Mrs. McGregor. That's awesome. Do you like Mrs. McGregor?
Yeah.
Do you guys play a special game in class that you like the most?
Yeah.
What is it?
Gavin.
Oh, you like playing with Gavin?
Yeah, he's sick.
He got sick this week?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So, what do you like to do with Gavin?
I like to play games with him, but he's really sick.
Oh, just really sick. Well, maybe he'll be back in school this week. I hope he is, because I know you guys have been friends. I mean, actually, when we did this interview last year, about a year ago, you said your bus buddy was Gavin.
Yeah.
I think you accidentally called him Kevin on the show, but Gavin is his real name, right?
Uh-huh.
So, Calvin, you're wearing your sporty clothes right now, which you put on yourself this morning. Very cool. Why do you like being a sporty guy?
Because they're very cool.
They're very cool. Do they feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Sometimes we put handsome clothes or cute clothes on you, and you don't like it. Why is that?
Because they don't look cool.
They don't. Do they feel uncomfortable?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And you like being in cool, sporty clothes.
Uh-huh.
So what words do you like right now, buddy? Sometimes when I call you cute, you don't like that, right?
No. I want my whole family to call me cool.
Cool. You like cool and sporty. How about handsome? Is that a good one or no?
No.
No. How about good looking? Does that work?
Yeah.
Good looking is all right? Okay. So good looking's in, handsome is out, cute is out, and sporty is in. Hey, buddy, sometimes you get mad, right? You got mad this morning. Mm-hmm. How do you make the madness go away?
Hugging my pets.
Hungry Cupids. What else?
Like screaming.
Screaming sometimes helps you? Mm-hmm. Do you like when we punch pillows?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, does that help? Mm-hmm. How about when you and I would write out our feelings or draw our feelings? Do you like doing that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What about working on options? Do you like doing options with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell the audience what working on options means?
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean, buddy?
It means that you're feeling sad or mad or happy.
Yeah, and then you write down why.
Uh-huh.
And then we can write down what we can do together.
Uh-huh.
So we write down one option is we can scream and mad and punch things. And then option 2 is we can take a deep breath. And option 3 is we can pick our nose. Right? So which one do we choose?
Punch pillows.
Punch pillows, that's a good one. Okay, cool. So Halloween is coming up, buddy. What do you want to be for Halloween?
Spider-Man.
Yes, I love Spider-Man. That's so cool. Hey, I have a question for you. What is your favorite song to listen to in Daddy's car?
Rocking to the Core.
Rotten to the Core? That's a good one. Do you like Muse still?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you like, what is it? Supermassive Black Hole? Is that your Muse song?
Yeah, and Uprising.
And
too.
Uprising. That's a good one, too.
Uprising has the wow wow sound.
Yeah, it goes, wow, wow. Right? That's cool. Hey, what's your favorite thing to do with Daddy?
Playing with you.
Yeah, what do you like playing with me?
Sword fighting.
Sword fighting. Yeah, how about wrestling?
Yeah.
Do you like getting rough with Dad?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Calvin, I heard you understand how to snap now. Can you give everybody an example? Mm-hmm. Do it again. That's awesome, man. You're getting really good at it. Well, I appreciate you being on the show. I have one more question for you. What do you like to ask Alexa to do?
To tell me a joke.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite joke that she's told you? Can you tell us a joke today?
Why did the banana cross the road?
Why?
Because he felt dizzy.
I love it. That's a great joke, buddy. Well, I love you. Thank you so much for being on the show. You have such a great personality, and I love your love and your jokes, and they make me happy. I just love you. I'm very proud to call you my son. I love you, buddy.
Thank you.
Oh, that banana joke. It gets me every time. And for our final interview of the show, I've invited the love of my life, my wife of 8 years now, Nicole Hill. Welcome to the show, Nicole. How's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely. Well, it's been about a year since we had our last conversation on the podcast, and I figured that got to bring the family back, especially my lovely bride. I know you like when I say bride. Kind of creeps you out. Does it creep you out? Bridezilla. So a lot's happened in the last year since we had you on the show. So
you've reached your 100th episode.
Yeah, 100. Woo. But Zoe's in full days of first grade now, and Calvin does 3 half days a week. So it's hopefully a little bit of a nice reprieve. I know that summer was kind of fun / hectic, but what was your favorite memory that we had this summer?
My favorite memory was maybe the first day the pool opened.
Yeah.
And they played throwback old school songs like knock 3 times on the door if you want me. This is just like feels like you've gone back in time. And it was kids just screaming and splashing and beach balls throwing in the air, and it was awesome.
I love that. I love that little club too. I think that we can really have the kids grow up there. I see, you and I talk about that like sort of dream time where they're going to be like, whatever, 6, 8, 10. They're running off playing. They both know how to swim, and we can kind of chill and relax and have some fun with the friends we've made.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that too. Calvin is almost there. We just got to get him to learn how to swim, and then we can kind of let them go off. Zoe's there already. Zoe, we can kind of let her do her thing and have fun.
Right.
So I invited you on the show. Obviously, we the title of the show is kind of intriguing and interesting. So,
What did you decide for the title of the show?
It's going to be something like how paying off our mortgage sent us to marriage therapy. So.
How getting out of debt put us into therapy.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's cool. Well, TBD, everybody. So last fall we paid off our mortgage, which was fun. Yay!
Yeah.
Celebration. Cool.
Made
No
a
mortgage
cool video,
anymore.
Insert video here.
Oh, I will. I'll put that in the show notes, everybody. We did some pretty wild stuff. We ran through a mortgage wall of papers, which was cool. We took all our mortgage papers and made a wall and let the kids run through it. We burned our mortgage while having some champagne by the fire. What else did we do? We went to a shooting range and shot up some of the mortgage papers. And then my favorite, which was your idea, the mortgage piñata. We created a piñata out of the mortgage papers and then let the kids whack it, and candy and coins came out of it. It was a blast.
That was cute.
But yeah, we had a blast and created a little bit more space between our income and our expenses. But it wasn't all roses and sunshine. Why?
Oh, all right. I'm going back to that place. That dark place. It was a happy event for a while. What was funny actually was that the leading up to paying off the mortgage was more fun than the 2 months after paying off the mortgage. And it was, I think, because you and I were in unison, in lockstep, and we talked about our plan all along the way until we got to the goal. And so we were every month doing our budget party, party in quotations there, everybody, because those two terms don't really go together. But we would, meet for our budget parties, and I would be okay with not spending on lavish things for the house at that point because that was our plan. We were going to save and pay off the mortgage first, and you were okay with, all of the things like not putting as much into retirement and doing other things that would allow us to put that extra chunk towards the mortgage each month. And so we were on autopilot almost with that plan for a long time, and it worked really well. But what happened when we paid off the mortgage, I think, and you can correct me if you see it differently, but we had discussed what we thought we were going to do once we paid off the mortgage, i.e. Nicole was going to get a lump sum each month to spend on finishing the house. Andy was going to buy more clothing, and we were going to do more fun with the kids, more vacations, yada, yada. But when we actually paid the mortgage off, it's almost like we forgot what we had said our plan was going to be. I think at that particular moment, you were having a rough spell at work.
Yeah.
And so you altered the plan in your brain
Without talking
and
to you.
on paper without actually ever saying it out loud.
Yeah.
And then came to the following budget party where I was like, hooray, I'm going to get to spend $500 this month on whatever I want for the house. And you were like, oh, wait, no, I have a new plan. Here's my spreadsheet. Help me to find where we can find $3,000. And so all I saw was the axe going towards all these things that I thought we were going to be lavish about once we paid off the mortgage.
Yeah.
And that became probably the biggest fight of our marriage.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it was a rough time, especially in the winter time. It didn't help too that it was like I think it was like February in
Yes.
Michigan, and we were already kind of grumpy.
Like no sunshine for like 60 days.
Yeah. But a big part of what you just said there was, and something that I've been working on or am working on, is making plans, financial goals, without speaking to you about them beforehand, and sort of just deciding what those are and then saying, hey, here it is. That's kind of where I fell flat, I think, there.
It reminds me of the conversation we had with the other couple that interviewed us.
Yeah. Tom and Ariana Sylvester. Yeah.
Where he described that he would read a book and he would go through this like whole journey in his brain of, beginning, middle, and end, and then come to his wife and be like at the end step and say, hey, we're going to do this, without having allowed her to go through that beginning, middle, and end journey herself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know that it's sometimes something that we all do, because we get, I get an idea in my brain where I'm like, I want to redo the entire basement. And then you come home and I'm like, hey, I want to redo the basement. And it's a shock to you because you haven't gone through the thought process that I've been thinking about for the last month.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Absolutely. Well, a couple things we talked about in there, at a point right around the time where we were getting to that mortgage freedom spot, there's been some changes at my job, and there were not things that I was excited about around that time. Some things that I was feeling vulnerable about. Management changes, job changes, things that I was feeling uncomfortable with, and with that, my priorities, without sharing it with Nicole, shifted from mortgage freedom to financial independence. And like you said, I didn't allow you to go on the journey with me to redesign the basement.
Right.
As opposed to
that whole financial independence thing, which is part of our plan now. But I feel like it was something that you had maybe, you said like, hey, I interviewed somebody who like retired at 35, and I'm like, hey, that's cool. And then the next week it was like, I want to retire at 35. Here's the new plan.
Yeah.
And it was like, what?
Yeah, absolutely. So what did we do after the big fight then? How did we attempt to resolve it?
Well, I talked to a good friend of mine, and she recommended a therapist. And I brought it up to you. I wasn't sure how you were going to take it. And like, unbeknownst to me, you were like, I think that's a great idea. And it was a big load off because I didn't know if you would be open to it or not. And it's something that I had always thought, like anytime other friends of mine were having marital problems, I was like, well, therapist seems like a logical next step. And I always thought that it would be something I would want to do if we ever got to that point. And then we got to that point, and I was like, but I don't know any therapists. So it kind of, all the stars aligned, and it fell into our laps that we got a great one that was local and recommended by somebody personally. And I don't think going to a therapist is anything negative. Yeah. Like, I don't know, you go to a doctor when you're sick.
Yep.
You talk to a nutritionist if you want to know how to eat better.
Get a physical trainer if you want to be stronger.
Yeah, there's no shame in that. And I don't know why in our society that people have a stigma around getting mental help.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe because it's a recognition that you don't know everything, or that you're not perfect, right? And then it's like, but who's perfect?
Why are we okay saying, hey, I'm morbidly obese, so let me go get a personal trainer? I mean, people give you applause for that.
Right. Yeah.
Why is it the opposite way when it comes to mental health
absolutely,
and wanting to keep your relationship solid? I don't know.
It's good, and I think we had some of those conversations. We talked about that with Tom and Ariana as well. That they've done the same thing, where this is actually a plus. This is a third party that's going to help us have a better marriage.
Right.
And so, what were your impressions of going to our first couple sessions?
Oh God, the tears. It's so weird how you sit in that room and you can go in feeling totally fine, and then you like sit down and all of a sudden you're like, what's happening to my body? And the tears just roll down. But it can be a little uncomfortable because it's weird to talk to each other with somebody else listening. Mm-hmm. And it's weird to stare at each other in the eye. And, she coaches us on how to say things like, are you available for my appreciation? And It feels so weird and awkward. But I think we end up having conversations that we wouldn't have had on our own.
Yeah.
And so I think in that sense, it's something that we want to keep doing. And it's something that's really healthy to explore.
Absolutely. The thing that I appreciated about it the most is that, you and I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and the the spare time that we have to actually have conversations is very rare.
Yeah.
So when we're literally setting aside time for extreme conversation with each other in a good way,
Right.
it's helpful. And a lot of stuff comes out. I mean, a lot of important things that that we're thinking about in our brains, but we're not actually letting out to each other came out in that room a few times. And it's been, I come away, we actually just came back from a session literally a half hour ago. So it's fresh. It's relieving. It helps me to breathe better.
And that hour surprisingly goes by really slowly. You would think fast because you're on the clock and you're paying for those minutes, but I feel it goes by slowly because we never have 60 whole minutes uninterrupted outside of that, ever.
Absolutely.
Without kids asking us for 10,000 things, without our phones buzzing, without just our own ADD.
Yeah.
Oh, let me pop this in the microwave, or let me go fold the laundry while we're talking. Like, we never do that. So if any couples are listening to this and wondering if you should try couples therapy, for just for the zen of being able to sit somewhere without being interrupted for 60 minutes, I say do it.
Totally. Yeah, it's like a brain massage.
Yeah, it is.
An emotional brain massage.
Yep.
So, no, it's been good. And, I'd like to say that you and I have figured out exactly what we're going to do going forward. I don't think that we have that yet, and that's okay.
But I know that because we're willing to go to therapy, I feel more confident that our marriage will last.
Yeah.
I don't see it as like an old school mentality of if you're in couples therapy or on the verge of divorce.
Right.
It's more like, no, because we are going to couples therapy means we won't get divorced.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. We'll be back to the show in just a moment after a word from our sponsors. Earlier this year, I was looking for another way to protect my identity and manage my credit score. We were applying for new credit card applications, and I wanted to make sure my score was tip-top. In my research, I came across a great fintech company called Credit Sesame. They provide you with your credit score each month and monitor your credit for free. I love free. Don't you guys love free? Not only does Credit Sesame help you monitor and manage your credit, it helps you protect it as well. They give you $50,000 in identity theft insurance along with fraud resolution assistance for free. Oh, free. In the event you're ever a victim of identity theft, they've got you covered. To get your free account with no credit card required, go to creditsesame.com/MKM. That's creditsesame.com/MKM and get your free credit score today. You often hear me talk about the importance of tracking your net worth. After all, it's the overall barometer for your financial health. Some people, including me, like to see their net worth numbers laid out in a spreadsheet so they can customize it to their liking. Well, my friends, I have a way for you to get the flexibility of a spreadsheet and have your account automatically synced up so you don't have to import the information manually. It's called Tiller. Tiller is the easiest way to optimize your personal and business finances with the flexibility of a spreadsheet. The beauty of the Tiller system is that you automatically update your financial information through Google Sheets and, in the near future, Excel. This way, you're taking away the cumbersome process of updating your net worth, but you still have the ability to customize as you please. Oh, and did I mention you can budget and track your debt paydown process with Tiller too? Oh, yeah. It's as versatile as a spreadsheet. Start tracking your net worth with Tiller today, my friends. To get your first 30 days for free and to support this show, go to marriagekidsandmoney.com/Tiller. That's marriagekidsandmoney.com/Tiller, Tiller. With Tiller, you'll have your financial life in a spreadsheet updated each day. Thanks for considering our sponsors today, everybody. Let's jump back into that interview. So out of the therapy and out of our conversations about money and where we would like to move together in a financial independence kind of style, you got a new job.
I did.
So can you talk about that? What are you doing now?
That was the happy little accident that came out of all of that. As Ross the painter would say. But so yeah, it was the silver lining of the most volcanic fight in our relationship.
Good word.
It I guess not forced me, but it encouraged me to keep exploring, because I think for the last 3 years I've known that I wanted to work. Like, having quit my job was never, just for whoever is listening, I used to work in marketing, same as Andy, for 10 years. And it did the trick. It allowed me to do what I needed to do. It allowed me to move to California and have this great experience out there and pay for myself. And then it allowed me to help Andy and I get into a really good place with our finances before having kids. After having kids, I was able to go down to part-time. I really did enjoy my job at that time. But after having Calvin, decided to stop working, just really so that we didn't have to do daycare.
Right.
And after that, I never thought my calling was to stay at home with the kids. I am loving all of the things that come along with it. I love being able to instill my morals and values in them. I love being able to be there for all the good and bad moments. I think it's really special. It's something I didn't have growing up, and I'm really glad I can give to the kids. However, I always say this, if I had a job that was, something of a passion and that I had worked towards for a really long time, I wouldn't have given that up. Mm-hmm. It's just that I didn't have that perfect job that I was super passionate about, and it wasn't my life's calling. So staying home with the kids was the better option of the two, of doing daycare and going to a job I didn't like, or liked somewhat. And then being home with the kids wasn't perfect either. So I had always known that I wanted to do something. I just didn't know what. And I kind of threw out into the universe like this crazy, I want to only work a couple days a week. I don't want to have to get daycare, or put my kids in daycare. I want X, Y, and Z, and I want one blue eye and one brown eye, just like the weirdest thing. And I spun around with that for a few years and didn't really find anything. But then coming out of this fight, it forced me to take another look at what my strengths are. My strengths are organizing, decorating. I'm type A. I can, I'm a hard worker. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. And so what that turned into was, hey, maybe I can do a designing and or organizing kind of business. And thought about starting that on my own as just a side business that I would do on the weekends, but then ultimately ended up finding two women who are already doing it really, really well and actually needed another worker. So after reaching out to them and the stars aligning and a really grueling month and a half process of interviewing and background checks and yada, yada, I started working as a freelancer for them, and it's been great for the last 6 months. It gives us a little bit more in the pocketbook, but that wasn't the main reason. The main reason was for me to feel more on par with, not on par, for me to feel more as an equal partner in this relationship, even though I'm earning a lot less than you. I feel more equal in that I too have a job outside of the kids in the home. You watch the kids when I go to work. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of equals the playing field on the home front. Yep. And taking care of the kids and doing the dishes and things of that nature. And it gives me a break from just answering to kids.
Get to use your adult brain in your hands.
Right. So, coming out of a huge fight forced me to look into more options for this job that I knew that I wanted and didn't know what it was, and I found it. So that is definitely one of the great positives that came out of that.
That's great. Well, can you tell a little bit about exactly what you do on a daily basis when you do your job?
Sure. So the world of professional organizing for me in this position is going to somebody's home and helping them to organize their room, whatever room we start in. And it's also like a lot psychological, like helping them to organize their lives. It is transformational for all of our clients. And some of them are, these lavish, maybe California Closets have come in and put up closets and they need to put all of their clothing and purses and shoes away. And that's rewarding in one way. But then some of the other jobs are somebody whose life has just completely taken over on them, and their brains just don't work in the same method that mine does. And they can't compartmentalize, they can't organize. And so they've ended up with cupboards stuffed full of things. They can't even cook anymore in their kitchen. Their countertops are completely, full of bills and mail that hasn't been able to be opened yet. And so we come in there and we spend hours with them and get their lives under control. And it is transformational for every single person that I've worked with so far. Another thing that we've dealt with is, which I think is going to become more and more these days, the people who have elderly parents, and then their stuff gets shipped to their children when they die.
Yeah.
And so the cycle just keeps happening, where somebody who already has too much stuff gets boxes and boxes of more stuff. And so what I've really learned in all of this is that us in America, we are really drowning in possessions and things, and they're bogging us down. So I've become more of a minimalist because of this too, and hopefully be able to spread that a little bit to some of the clients.
Excellent. So what's your typical week look like hours? Is it, if you could share that with everybody?
1 or 2 days a week. I think going forward, the ultimate goal is to work on Tuesdays for either 4 or 6 hours for jobs, and then Saturdays and Sundays. Yep. So about 3 days a week.
That's cool. So there's a lot of parents that listen to the show that would love a position, an opportunity like you have, that you're working on a passion project for a portion of your week while still being able to spend time with your family, spend time with your spouse. What advice would you have for them to, I guess, seek out that passion opportunity and find something that would be part-time and kind of fit their schedule?
Wayne Gretzky.
That's all you're going to say? Can you expand upon that?
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
I love it. Wayne Gretzky.
That's my favorite quote. It's so cheesy, but it's 100% true. And I kept telling myself that when I reached out to these two ladies on their website and just totally blank cold call emailed them. I don't know if it's a cold call, but a cold emailed them. And like it was an awkward, you've never met me before, but I want to be your best friend kind of thing. And I was like really nervous sending an email to them and offering to take them out to coffee. But I played that quote in my head. If I don't send this email, I surely will not get this job. If I do send it, I still may not get it, but there's a chance I will.
Yeah.
But I know I will not get this job if I don't send the email. So I had to take the shot. Something along the lines of, hi, my name is Nicole. I'm a mother of 2. I have been home for the last 3 years. I'm extremely organized. I wanted to start my own business, but after looking and seeing that you guys are doing it so perfectly, I don't know that I can improve upon that. So if you are available to meet for coffee, I'd love to pick your brain and see if there's any synergy and if you guys need to bring anybody on board right now.
That's cool. Did you send them any of your work at that time in that email?
Okay. I sent them pictures of areas in our own home that are organized and creatively kind of put together. And then I sent a picture or two from, I had helped a cousin and your sister with their closet and other areas. So, yep.
So that's good. So I mean, if you have an interest in something, like anything, like organizing or anything, just sounds like starting off with your personal life and then maybe doing it for friends and family to kind of explore it a little bit.
Right.
Was a good path for you. Was that part of your? I mean, you just all of a sudden just say, "Hey, I want to be an organizer." You had done it personally, done it for
Right.
friends for a couple of years. Would you advise that for people just as they're exploring different ways, especially stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home dads are trying to figure out what their next step is?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if something is already a passion of yours, it won't be a problem finding examples of that.
Yeah.
If I wasn't an organized person and that wasn't a passion of mine, then I wouldn't have had pictures available to take of my own home. And by the way, part of that grueling interview process was they wanted to come to our home and see how we organize ourselves. And in that moment, I was like, yes, I have picked the right job for me because this doesn't scare me at all. I don't have to go home and be like, oh, shoot, they're coming to my house. I have to get everything in order. It already was.
Yeah.
So I knew that was like, it was already intrinsic to me to be organized. I already live that way. And so it made a lot of sense for me to try to do that for other people. And then having them come to our home wasn't stressful at all.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Well, seeing you go through this and the process and reaching out, I know it's not like, it didn't feel like part of your instinct to like reach out and kind of feel like you're doing a cold email and things like that. But seeing you do it and getting excited about it, I was just blown away by it. I thought that was really cool. And the fact that you're doing it now and it's something you love. Yeah, there's good days, there's bad days, right? Like with any position, but it's, part-time. You're still able to, spend time with your family.
You had asked me, you said, so after a couple months of doing it, you said, are you happier now? I said, yes. And it's not perfect. You said, would you rather have gone back to an office job? I said, absolutely not. And you said, well, would you rather still just be a stay-at-home mom without doing a job? And I said, no. So it's the perfect middle ground. And it's, it has pros and cons, but it's better than the other options.
Absolutely.
So I would also, as part of the advice to anybody who's thinking about going back to work or trying to find something on the side, is don't let your ego get in the way. Because I think for me, that does happen and I have to turn it off. Because I do have a degree. I have a degree that we spent a lot of money getting and a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I can probably be making a lot more money right now, especially had I not quit at the point of having kids. I could have been making well above 6 figures. And that part of my thought process kind of says, oh my gosh, Nicole, what are you doing? You're doing, freelance work. You're getting dirty or, doing work that other people, you could be paying somebody to do that work for you instead of getting paid to do that for somebody else. And then I have to just ask myself, but would I be happier if I got that office job and paid somebody to do this? And the answer to that is no. I wouldn't be happier. I would be miserable. So I just have to tell my ego to be quiet. And yes, I have a degree, and that allowed me to do some great things for an entire decade of my life. But now it's time to do something else that makes me happy and allows me to also do the other things in life that I want to do, like be there when my kids get off the bus. So
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing this. And I'm glad, in February it was a pretty tough time for us, and I'm glad that this came out of that. There's a lot of things that we're still working on and things that I'm working on personally. And I'm just very happy that you found this, and I look forward to getting there eventually too. And I think you and I are going to work together to figure that out. And we appreciate everybody listening today because that helps us get there. So I think that we got to go pick up Calvin now.
Okay.
But
That
I really
sounds
appreciate you
good.
being on. And so wait, before we go, what's your favorite Netflix show right now?
Ooh, favorite Netflix show.
Or non-Netflix show? Just series, any series.
I'm really excited for the OA to come back on. I don't know. That's not like a super popular one, but that one surprised me with how good it was. So I think they're coming back for a second season. I'll be really excited to watch that one. That's the only
That's
one
the one.
that's like
That's the one
coming to my
coming up.
mind. Yeah,
All right. I'm ready for Game of Thrones next year.
definitely.
That's 2019. I need to fill in something in the gap. You and I can find something that we'll watch together.
Not something that'll give us nightmares before bed.
Yeah,
like,
what were we watching?
Like Westworld.
Westworld. We watch Westworld before we go to bed, because I get the kids to bed at like 9 or 9:30, and then we watch Westworld from like 10 to 11 or midnight, and then we have nightmares all night.
Oh my gosh. That famous night where there was an episode where somebody's standing over somebody and it's somebody's laying down, other person standing over them with their eyes open, and it was like a scary shock moment. And then fast forward to 3 hours later, middle of the night, I heard a little rustling in the dark, and I opened my eyes, and Zoe's standing over me with her eyes open, and I screamed. You screamed, you broke a lamp, hit yourself in the eye. It was like the most. So we can't watch Westworld before bed anymore. Nope.
Yeah. You like piercing, like there was a murderer in the room screaming in the room, and you screamed, and it was literally Zoe like coming and being like, I want some water or whatever.
So if anybody has any lighthearted recommendations on some like comedy shows we can watch before bed, please leave them in the comments below.
Absolutely. Well, do you want to get lunch before we get Calvin?
Sure.
All right. I love you, baby.
Love you too.
I love this woman. I really do. I shouldn't laugh. I love her. I'm in love with her. And we both wanted to be open and honest with you guys about today's show. I'm always sharing my big financial wins or other people's big financial wins with you guys on the show. And it's important to realize that the road is not always smooth. It's not always paved. There are potholes. There are rough times. But it's those hard times that define us. It's bouncing back and saying, she's worth it, or he's worth it, or better yet, we're worth it. I love her. She loves me. We found each other for a reason. These money disagreements won't define us. And as we solve them together, that's what's going to define us. Our ability to bounce back from the hard times and get professional help when we need it. The happy little accident out of all this is Nicole's new gig as a professional organizer. I wanted to highlight that piece of our story today. So here are my top 3 takeaways for those stay-at-home parents out there that are also looking to shift into a part-time passion job. Number 1, pick your passion. Is there something out there that you love doing? Something that you do for free because you like it so much? And are there people out there that are getting paid to do it? Then you've got your makings of a part-time passion gig, my friends. Nicole pursued something that she loves. She loves being organized. She organizes our house like a madwoman. It's crazy. It's awesome. And she's even helped friends and family do the same thing for their homes. There's a great way to see if you're really passionate about your gig. Do it for free for friends and family first, with the stipulation that you can use your work as a case study or a testimonial for future paying gigs. So that's number 1, pick your passion. Number 2, don't let your ego get in the way of your happiness. This was an excellent point by my lovely bride, Nicole. Let's say you have a college degree in business, but you want to do your new job /gig/business doing photography. Or let's say you know you could easily make 6 figures working your old full-time job, but you want to do your job/gig/business that nets you $30,000 per year. Ask yourself truly, which route will make me happiest? What will bring me the most joy? Is it getting the big paycheck and staying true to my degree, or working a job that you love and making a little bit less money? In your heart, if you feel that $30,000 a year gig as an artist, as a photographer, will make you happier, then I say go for it. Yes, you'll have to figure out how you can do it financially. You'll need to do things like live on a budget, eliminate your debt, have enough savings to cover emergencies, and hopefully your spouse is still working so you can get that good health insurance coverage. It definitely helps that Nicole and I have worked on our financial situation for the better part of a decade. We're completely debt-free. We've got a healthy savings account for both personal and for our retirement needs, and our kids' college funds are building up steam. So actually, there's lots of financial stipulations here, but that makes sense because I'm a money guy. But you guys get the gist. Follow your passion, get your ego out of the way, but do the math to make sure you can afford it. Number 3, take the Wayne Gretzky method. Nicole dropped the mic on this one. This was awesome. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Super cheesy, yes, but quite accurate. All of those business ideas you have, all of the passion projects you're thinking about, none of them will come to fruition if you don't take your shot. Shots on net, right? All you hockey fans out there. Make that first contact to your potential employer like Nicole did. Put yourself out there with friends and family to see if you can get some case studies or testimonials. Seek out your very first client. The more shots you take, the more goals you'll score. I love cheesy sports references. So those were my top 3 takeaways. Number 1, pick your passion. Number 2, don't let your ego get in the way of your happiness. And then number 3, take the Wayne Gretzky method. As young parents, I truly believe it's important to have something outside of the role of mom or dad. When you're staying at home with the kids, you can definitely develop a lifelong bond with them, but it can also be mind-numbing at times. If you're feeling the calling, don't turn it off from your brain. Do some investigation, some experimentation, definitely some financial analyzation. Money guy over here. And then go for it, like Nicole did. I'm so proud of her accomplishment. And Wayne Gretzky would be really proud of her too. Now it's time to announce the Money Master of the Week. Ivan from Cincinnati wrote me an incredible email about his recent net worth growth and debt destruction progress. Within the last 3 years, Ivan and his wife Alma have increased their net worth by $90,000 and eliminated $40,000 of debt. They did this through 3 key routes. Number 1, living below their means and on a budget. Number 2, being intentional with their spending. And then number 3, partnering together as a couple to meet their goals. Those are the 3 most important things anyone can do to eliminate debt. And Ivan and Alma are mastering it right now. Ivan's story sounds very similar to a lot of us young parents out there. As soon as they brought their children into the world, something clicked in their brains, telling them it was time to elevate their family to a level they've never been to before. With their 2 small kids, Ivan and Alma are now on their way to complete debt freedom. Ivan shared an incredible email with me, everybody, and I'm going to put it in the show notes for you to read. It is a story that's truly centered on hard work, passion, and family. Check it out at marriagekidsandmoney.com/session100. Ivan, thank you so much for sharing your family win, and congratulations for being our Money Master of the Week. Do you have a recent financial victory that you want to share on this show? Email me at andy@marriagekidsandmoney.com or leave me a voicemail at marriagekidsandmoney.com/voicemail. I would love to hear from you, everybody. You'll find all the links and resources for today's show at marriagekidsandmoney.com/session100. Oh yeah, 100. marriagekidsandmoney.com/session100. I've been waiting 100 episodes to say that. To help me celebrate this 100th episode, please leave me a rating and review for the show. I know a lot of you have had the opportunity to check out the show more than once, and if I've put a smile on your face or helped you at all with your money, do me a solid and leave me a rating and review today. Those ratings will help others find this show and grow what we're doing here. We're helping couples grow their wealth, have a better marriage, and I at least know it's helping me. So thank you guys for this therapeutic opportunity each week. So for those ratings, go to marriagekidsandmoney.com/Apple Podcasts if you're a Apple Podcast listener, or Stitcher, marriagekidsandmoney.com/Stitcher. I would really appreciate your support, everybody. Thanks for considering it. In the spirit of growth and inspiration, I'm going to end the show with a quote today from Dave Muir. A great marriage is not when the perfect couple comes together. It is when an imperfect couple learns to enjoy their differences. Here's to imperfection and progress, my friends. Carpe diem.